Imagine this scenario. You are an ordinary person living in China who has just received a substantial sum of money, perhaps thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This windfall could be the result of a successful business deal, an inheritance, or even winning the lottery. Feeling excited and optimistic about your future, you decide to deposit this money into a local bank, believing that it will be safe and secure. However, what if you had second thoughts? What if greed got the better of you and you decided to steal the very money that you had just deposited? The consequences of such an action would be dire and far-reaching. And today we're going to explore exactly what would happen to you if you stole from a bank in China. If you were to steal from a bank in China, you would have to deal with the Chinese police. They have their own way of handling things, which can be brutal at times. So first, let's see how you managed to pull off such a heist. In order for you to successfully steal from a bank in China, you must first get past their security measures. Now, it is worth noting that banks in China have some of the most advanced security technology in the world. Security guards armed with the latest weaponry guard the premises, while surveillance cameras monitor every move inside. Even before you enter the bank, you'll need to pass through several checkpoints where your identity will be checked and your bags will be searched. Once inside, you'll need to navigate through anti-theft gates and laser beams to reach the vault. The vault itself will be guarded by multiple security cameras, motion sensors, and alarm systems. It is almost impossible for someone to steal from a bank without being caught. Even if you somehow manage to bypass all these security measures and make it to the vault, you would still need to crack the vault's advanced locking system. These systems are designed to withstand attacks from drills, explosives, and even fire. Even if you manage to open the vault, getting away with the loot would be another significant challenge. Banks in China are typically located in heavily populated areas with multiple exits that are constantly monitored by security personnel. To make matters worse, Chinese banks do not keep large amounts of cash on site. Instead, they use advanced IT technology to transfer funds electronically. This means that even if you made it out of the bank with a bag full of cash, you would only be making off with a small fraction of the money you had intended to steal. In fact, stealing from a bank in China is akin to trying to rob the Queen's crown jewels under the noses of the Queen's guard. It is simply one of the most difficult crimes to commit. Let's say you have found a loophole. You made it past the security and you are now standing in front of the vault. Inside is a mountain of money that you can take with you. But don't get too excited just yet. Even if you manage to get past the physical security and technological safeguards and actually make it to the vault, you would still need to overcome another significant obstacle: the psychological barrier created by the bank's employees. Banks in China have strict protocols in place to prevent any single employee from having access to large sums of money. Typically, multiple employees are required to authorize any transaction involving significant amounts of money. This helps to ensure that there is always at least one witness to any financial activity and makes it extremely difficult for any individual employee to embezzle funds. Furthermore, all transactions are recorded and monitored by the bank's internal audit team. This means that even if you manage to convince one employee to help you steal money from the bank, you would need to do the same thing with many others. The chances of getting so many people on your side is almost nil. In addition to these safeguards, banks in China also implement a number of physical controls to prevent theft. For example, employees are prohibited from bringing backpacks, coats, or other large bags onto the premises. This helps to ensure that employees cannot smuggle money out of the bank without being detected. Moreover, employees are subjected to regular unannounced searches of their offices and lockers. This helps to create an environment of constant vigilance and discourages employees from attempting to steal money. But assuming you manage to steal some money, you won't get far because Chinese banks are some of the most well-protected institutions in the world. They have robust security measures in place to prevent robberies and safeguard their assets. Let's discuss what would happen next. The moment you successfully make off with the money, the bank's alarm system will be triggered, summoning the police in minutes. The police in China are highly efficient and will quickly surround the area, cutting off any possible escape routes. You will be trapped like a rat in a cage. Due to China's advanced facial recognition technology, the police will know your identity within seconds of the crime being committed. There will be no chance for you to flee the country because all major exits, including airports and train stations, will be immediately sealed off. A massive manhunt will be launched and every available resource will be used to track you down and recover the stolen money. It is important to note that the Chinese government takes economic crimes very seriously. Stealing from a bank is considered a major offense and you will face severe penalties. The Chinese legal system does not tolerate such behavior, and you can expect to spend many years in prison if convicted. Chinese society places a high value on social order and stability, and any crime that disrupts this order is dealt with harshly. Stealing from a bank is seen as a serious offense against the state, and individuals convicted of such crimes are punished severely. The Chinese government has implemented a zero-tolerance policy towards corruption and embezzlement, which are seen as major threats to the country's economic development. The punishment for stealing from a bank in China may vary depending on the amount of money stolen, but it is always severe. In some cases, individuals convicted of bank theft have been sentenced to death. Now, you may think that if you confess to the crime and return the money, you may receive a lighter sentence. However, This is not the case in China. The Chinese legal system places a strong emphasis on punishment and rehabilitation, rather than simply making an example out of the criminal. Whether you confess or not, the punishment will be severe. The Chinese government has taken significant steps to protect its banking system from theft and fraud. The banking industry in China is highly regulated, and banks are required to implement strict security measures to safeguard their assets. The government has also invested heavily in advanced technology to detect and prevent financial crimes. Despite these measures, however, bank robberies and financial crimes do still occur in China. One reason for the persistence of bank robberies in China is the allure of quick and easy money. In a society where there is a growing gap between the rich and the poor, some people are willing to take desperate measures to improve their financial situation. Another factor contributing to bank robberies in China is the country's rapid economic development. As China has become one of the world's leading economies, there has been a corresponding increase in financial crimes. With the growth of the banking industry, more money has become available, and with that, more opportunities for theft and fraud. Despite the challenges, the Chinese government remains committed to protecting the country's banking system and ensuring the safety of its citizens. By continuing to invest in technology and implementing stricter regulations, the government is working to create a safer financial environment for everyone. So what should you take away from this entire video? Well, first, don't steal from banks. It's a bad idea anywhere in the world. Second, China's security technology is advancing rapidly. Their systems are among the best in the world. And finally, if you do decide to steal from a bank in China, you'd better have a good plan in place. The police there are tough, and they will stop at nothing to catch you. Thank you for watching this episode. If you like our videos, please support us. Also, remember to check out our other content where we talk about everything related to China.